So we're talking truths and lies. Truths and lies. The NNPC Group Managing Director or the NNPCL Group CEO came on national TV, live TV, on Arise News and told some truths and told some lies. Many truths, many lies. So in this review, in this reaction, we're going to look at one truth and look at one lie so that the video doesn't get too long because it's a whole lot of truth and lies.
I'm sure you are aware that this company has broken even. We are doing very well. We have profit level of 687 trillion naira in fiscal 2021.
Did you catch that? That's the NNPC Group CEO, NNPCL Group CEO. He says we have a profit level of 687 trillion naira in fiscal year 2021. Did you catch it? Did you? I'll play it again.
I'm sure you are aware that this company has broken even. We are doing very well. We have profit level of 687 trillion naira in fiscal 2021. We are doing very well. We have profit level of 687 trillion naira in fiscal 2021.
687 trillion naira. For clarity, the whole GDP of Nigeria, the whole GDP of Nigeria is 500 billion US dollars. 500, and I'm rounding it off. It's actually accurately about 440,000 billion US dollars, thereabout. But for the sake of this analysis, let's round it off to 500 billion US dollars. That's the whole GDP of Nigeria. 500 billion US dollars. Now, let us use the black market exchange rate of 750 naira to $1. If you multiply 750 naira by 500 billion US dollars, you get 375 trillion naira. I'll repeat it. If you multiply the entire GDP of Nigeria, which is approximately 500 billion US dollars, and you multiply it by the black market exchange rate of 750 naira to $1, what you have in naira is 375 trillion naira. Yet, NNPC made a profit of 687 trillion naira in 1 year alone, 2021. So you see, NNPC alone is more than 2 times richer than the whole of Nigeria. More than 2 times richer. Do you remember the allegations that Honorable Godaji Kazari, the blinking, shaking honorable in our in the 9th Assembly, the allegations he made about Emefiele, the CBN governor, that the CBN has a secret account of stamp duties and other revenues that was housing 79 trillion naira hidden somewhere. Do you remember that the CBN came to refute that? And they even argued that how much is the whole capitalization of all the banks in Nigeria? How much is it? That was the argument then, and many people believed it. Now hear this. If NNPC made a profit of 687 trillion naira, you can understand where the stamp duties of 89 trillion is coming from. Because the hidden account that Honorable Kazari was actually talking about contained the stamp duty proceeds and other sources that were hidden in the CBN. But let's come back to this whole profit of 687 trillion of the NNPC. It means that the NNPC can actually build 10 refineries without blinking an eye. Yes, that's what it means. The NNPC group director just came to national TV to make a big mistake, to goof, a slip of tongue, you might call it. He didn't intend to, but because he wanted to brag about how the NNPC is making profit, he actually made the mistake of letting us know how much the NNPC made in 2021 alone. This is huge. This is huge. 687 trillion naira? How much is our whole budget again? The whole budget of Nigeria, how much is it for 2023? 20 trillion. Which means that the NNPC can actually just be giving Nigeria stipends to fund our resources. That's what it means. But why are they not doing it? Why are they not doing it? That's a question for you and me. This is big. No wonder Kayode, one of the Arise TV hosts, said it was extremely brave for Kyari to come on national TV to talk about the subsidy. It's brave because when you tell a lie, you need to tell at least 10 more lies to keep that lie. And for the NNPC Group Managing Director to come on live TV, it's really brave to come and cover up the subsidy lie. And then in trying to do that, he spits out this truth about how much the NNPC made in 2021. So don't joke with the NNPC. Oh. Don't joke with the NNPC. It means that NNPC can really actually just be giving us stipends. 20 trillion is nothing compared to 687 trillion that he made in 1 year. NNPC is Nigeria's big brother. If you don't know, better know now. And do not say Kyari made a mistake. Kyari did not make a mistake. He didn't. The landing cost of petrol in Nigeria, I told you in the previous video I did, I went into some details about the landing cost of fuel in Nigeria. It's 80 naira. If you have not seen that video, I'll link it in the description. The landing cost of petroleum product, of fuel, is 80 naira in Nigeria. If you now sell, at 195 naira to 1 liter, it means that the NNPC is making a profit of over 100 naira per liter. And if you add on that expenses and you remove that, they are still making that 100 naira profit per liter. And if you multiply that by 60 million liters, that's over 1 trillion naira of profit per day that the NNPC makes. If you multiply that by 365 days in a year, that is 365 trillion naira, which is still less than the 687 trillion naira that Kyari just said NNPC made in 1 year. And it makes sense because in addition to making profits from selling price above the landing cost, NNPC also makes money using its other subsidiaries like Nigerians Marine. Nigerians Marine is a shipping company, and based on the direct sale, direct purchase arrangement, contract arrangement that NNPC has with the refineries, with the consortium, NNPC put it in that agreement that for the consortium to lift crude out of Nigeria, out of Bonny or Lagos, 50% of whatever crude they lift must use NNPC's Nigerians Marine. They must use NNPC's Nigerians Marine, which means that they must now pay NNPC Nigerians Marine for shipping at least 50% of the crude oil that they lift. And when they are bringing in refined products, NNPC, the consortium, the refineries, must also now use Nigerians Marine to ship at least 50% of the refined product from wherever they are, whether Rotterdam, majorly Rotterdam in Holland, in Netherlands, back to Nigeria to the direct at place location, which is either Bonny or Lagos. So NNPC is also making money from its own shipping company because the direct sale, direct purchase arrangement makes it such that everything, the only responsibility that NNPC has is to extract this crude oil and transport it to the port of discharge at Bonny and at Lagos. Once this crude oil gets there, the cost of shipping the crude oil from the port of discharge, either from Bonny or Lagos, the cost of shipment, the cost of insurance, the cost of ship-to-ship transfer, the cost of what again? The taxes, the cost of refining the crude oil at the refinery, the cost of shipping it back to Nigeria, the insurance on all those costs is borne by the consortium, by the refinery. NNPC does not bear all those costs. So NNPC just extracts crude oil, gives them 950,000 barrels of crude oil in one day, and then wait for 60 million liters or sometimes 100 million liters of crude oil in one go, and they take it back. That oil is given back to NNPC at either Bonny or at Lagos port. Then NNPC now has that refined petroleum product to sell to the local major oil marketers or independent oil marketers. So the independent oil marketers do not need to buy any forex to get refined product. They don't need to buy any forex. The transaction between NNPC after receiving the petrol product from the refineries at DAP, the transaction between the NNPC and the local distributors is in naira, total naira. So that's where they make the profit of over 100 naira per liter per day, on top of 60 million liter or thereabout. So NNPC makes 687 trillion naira in 1 year. That is very, very true. That is very, very true. So Kyari did not make a mistake. NNPC can build 10 refineries without borrowing a dime. Yet NNPC chose to make Nigerians suffer because of vested local and international interest. In fact, more of international interest. Then you ask the question, where's our media? Where is independent journalism? Where is investigative journalism? I can tell you that this kind of thing cannot go on in the United States of America, for instance, where you have the like of New York Times, you have the like of Washington Post, you have CNN, you have Fox News. These kind of things cannot go on. Investigative journalism would have brought it out. How can we have media in this country? We have channels, we have AIT, we have NTA, we have TVC, we have Arise News, and we have this secrecy around subsidy. I dare the NNPC chairman to explain direct sale, direct purchase to Nigerians. I dare the NNPC group CEO to explain the terms and conditions of its term sheet, of its contract agreement with the refineries, with the consortium. I dare him to explain it to Nigerians. Then you will see that we are in serious mess. We are in serious mess. And it's not his fault. It's the international companies, the international organizations, the Bretton Woods organizations. They are the ones that are blackmailing our leaders, forcing them to do their bidding so that they can continue to keep Nigeria and Africans on their knees and continue to use our resources to develop their own country. Because all of this money, where are they hiding? They are hiding in JP Morgan Chase. They are hiding in foreign accounts and developing those foreign countries. Nigeria does not need to borrow a single dime. But you ask, why do they borrow? They borrow for one reason and one reason only. A former World Bank IMF employee said the reason why. Because the IMF and the World Bank, they force countries to take these loans to put them in check. Because these monies they were talking about, this is 87 trillion naira, is not in Nigerian banking system. It is in American banking system. It's in the United Kingdom banking system. In fact, they use something called LIBOR, which operates in London. So that's where they are. This money is developing their countries while they keep us on our knees. We need to rise up against these international organizations. We need to there is no subsidy. There is no subsidy. It's a gimmick to keep us down. Now, you see, it will surprise you to note that all international organizations, IMF, World Bank, the British what now? Thing has left my head. The British Embassy in Nigeria, American Embassy, they all come to tell us we need to privatize, we need to deregulate, we need to devalue our naira. It is so that they can use their dollars to buy up our whole economy, to buy up our country, buy up the refinery, buy up our Jakarta Steel, so they can own everything and sell it to us at the price that they determine without giving us infrastructure. With 687 trillion naira, Nigeria should be better than Dubai. but they will not allow us because of these foreign countries. So it is these people that we need to rise up against. And these people's deep pocket gives them enormous powers. Enormous powers to the extent that there are fellow Nigerians like you and I that is on their payroll. Fellow Nigerians like you and I that they are paying, and they can ask those people to riot, to disrupt any government that does not do their bidding. They can. I can tell you that I sense the hands of this so-called international organization, even in the NSAS, because at that time, Buhari and Tinubu were looking towards China, which the West and the Bretton Woods institutions did not like. So they needed to use NSAS. They keyed into NSAS to send a message to Buhari that we can remove your government, we can destabilize your country if you don't play ball. And of course, Buhari again started dancing to their tune. Those are the enemies, the foreign organizations, international organizations. They are the real enemies. We need to rise up against them. And there's no need. I beg the NNPC. I beg you, Mele Kyari. I beg you, Tinubu. We don't need to put Nigerians through these sufferings to serve the interest of these international organizations. We don't need to. We know they have information on you, but we have come to accept those information. So let us now join hands to fight them. Let the patriotism in us come out. Reverse this so-called increase in price of pump price of fuel that you are calling subsidy removal. We all know there's no subsidy that was removed anywhere. It is just increasing the pump price of petrol so that we can serve the interest of these foreign organizations ably represented by the likes of Dangote and many others that will soon come up, destroying our own refineries in the process, because the excuse cannot be there if Nigeria has working refineries. So I beg you, let us come together. We don't need to put Nigerians through this. NLC must take note of this information. So when they negotiate with government, they should negotiate from the point of knowledge and strength and save Nigerians these sufferings. We don't need it. And Nigerians, like I say, they know that we are ignorant and they are playing on it. They know that we are easily distracted because they have put agents of distraction our way, from movies to music to sports to religion. They have put those things there to distract us, to keep us focused on things that are not important, while the important things go on unnoticed on the ground. Let us pay attention to this thing. Share this video so that Nigerians will see it, and also talk to people about it. If you have any questions, do let me know. And I know there are people out there who know much more than me on these things. Don't keep quiet. Don't. Speak up. When we decentralize it, then it becomes difficult for them to target any single individual. That was the success of the NSAS, because there was no single person they could call to say, who are your leaders? Let's apply this, apply that technique, the blockchain approach, distributed network approach. Let's apply it to this subsidy removal problem that is on our hands. There's no subsidy. There is no subsidy. They are just trying to raise the pump price of fuel to make Nigerians suffer and get the foreign international organizations to benefit through their representatives, the likes of Dangote and so on. That's all.
And secondly, along the value chain, you have number of indices. I don't know whether I should bore you with this or bore the public with this. You have to have the cost of ship-to-ship transfers, cost of holding this product in the depots, cost of also managing trucks from the depot all the way to fuel station, cost of also managing the product at the fuel station, and also several other margins, that of the marketers, that of the depot owners, that you have to factor. And there are numbers around it. I can't recollect all of them this moment, but I know that we look at all this all the way to the fuel depot before we arrive at the price that you are seeing in the depot.
Now the NNPC, now this is the lie. The NNPC said that to come up with the price that they talked about now, that they had to factor in cost of shipping, cost of ship-to-ship transfer, management, blah, 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 blah. They had to factor all of those in. That is a lie. I challenge the NNPC group managing CEO or group CEO. I challenge him to explain the terms and conditions of the contract agreement they have with the consortium. I dare him to explain the details of the direct sale, direct purchase to Nigerians. You will see that even in the description, in the public document, in the invitation to tender document that NNPC gave for this consortium to tender, in those documents you will see that NNPC says that it will provide crude FOB, and the consortium will provide refined petrol DAP. FOB is free on board, which means that the cost of extracting the crude oil up to the point of loading on the vessel, that cost is what NNPC bears. And then the cost after the refinery has discharged refined petrol from Rotterdam or wherever and discharged it at either Bonny or discharged it at either Lagos, that cost from there, transferring it into NNPC's tankers, from that point, NNPC takes custody of the refined petrol. That's all. Everything from shipping, everything from insurance, everything from refining, everything from shipping the refined product back, NNPC does not pay. Even taxes. NNPC, the consortium, the refineries are the one that pays. So coming to make this statement is obviously a big lie. It says the cost of ship-to-ship transfers, cost of demurrage, managing trucks from depot to stations, managing stations, depot cost, and all are borne by the consortium, not NNPC. Besides, ship-to-ship transfer is borne by the refineries in USD. So that is not the NNPC's problem, going by the DSDP arrangement. The only tangible and recurring cost to NNPC is cost of production, which includes extraction cost, taxes and royalties up to free on board Bonny or Lagos. It will interest you to know that NNPC does not bear the cost of any. It will interest you to know that NNPC does not bear any cost after FOB and DAP. After FOB, the cost of shipping crude oil, cost of refining the crude oil, cost of import of refined crude product, all are borne by the refinery. And the refinery component of the 15 DSDP consortiums, according to NNPC's own DSDP term sheet document. After DAP, the cost of transportation to filling station is borne by local oil marketer component of the consortium. NNPC is just chilling and waiting for the money to roll in. It will interest you also to know that same exploration companies are refineries. They are also shipping companies, so that effectively there is no liquidity required on either the NNPC side or the consortium side up to DAP, Lagos and Bonny. They are just leveraging their existing infrastructure. They are just leveraging their existing infrastructure. That's what they are doing. They're just leveraging their existing infrastructure. In fact, the letters of credit they use is called a revolving letter of credit. One letter of credit at the beginning, and that is the letter of credit they continue to use. And it's revolving and irrevocable and standby letter of credit, which means that no liquidity is required on either side. They are just leveraging existing infrastructure. The group CEO of NNPCL, Mele Kyari, and others who may represent the cabal must understand that the Bretton Woods institutions pushing them to do these things are doing it to favor their own countries at the expense of Nigeria. Kyari and others should choose the patriotic path and not a selfish one. I beg of them, please choose the patriotic path. You and I, we all know that there is no subsidy anywhere that is being removed. Buhari knew this. Ibe Kachiku also knew this. Perhaps that was why he was frustrated out. There is no subsidy. Don't put this suffering on Nigerians because of the interest of your international organizations. Don't, please. I beg you in the name of God. Don't. Nigerians, rise up and speak for yourself. Everybody should be talking about this. We should focus on this right now. Share it, and I will bring you, and there are more truths and lies that he told. But I don't want the video to be too long, so I will stop here for now. See you in the next video. I have the documentary, the live stream is almost ready. I'm sorry I couldn't do it yesterday because we couldn't finish the whole presentation, there are certain parts of the document that the conditions of confidentiality will expose our sources. So what we are doing is we're trying as much as possible to pick parts from the document that will not expose our sources, so that they will not take on those people. So give us a little time. Hopefully before the end of today, we'll do it. And then I'll probably post it as a video before we now do the live session, so that you can have time to sink it in. It's a whole lot, it's a whole mess. And I am just shocked that these things have happened for years, and we have media that have not been able to expose it. It's such a shame. So share this video. Let's do it ourselves. Share this video. Let more and more people see it. And let's free Nigeria. Let's save Nigerians this stress.